that's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine.
Hello, everybody. Who talks about this on YouTube? Hardly anyone, I'm sure. I haven't actually checked. But I don't get to play video games that often anymore, because being an adult leaves you with very few free time. But, because I mostly read. Because, I don't know, I like to read. And it's quicker than video games nowadays tend to be, where they're very long. But I went back because of the winter sale on Steam and got the Tomb Raider Survivor Trilogy for dirt cheap. And there's a little bit of an extended universe there. A little tiny bit. So I thought, why not discuss it? I will not be discussing the games themselves. There's plenty of videos on YouTube you can see if you care. I'll leave a link in the description to one particular video if you want to see the story of Tomb Raider 2013 if you have no interest in playing it yourself. Which by the time this is up, the winter sale's been done for a long time now. But there is a small little expanded universe. Starting with, it's going to be very short because I really don't have that much to say, Tomb Raider The Beginning comic, which with the definitive version of the game should be included as like a digital comic. Don't quote me on that though, but I'm pretty sure. It wasn't mine. But there's a whole thing about a crash ship expedition in the video game, and you're kind of stranded on this island, or Lara Croft is stranded on an island, and the whole story of the game progresses with this secret of Yamatai, this ancient queen, and a whole bunch of other things I'm not getting into because that's not what this is about. Like I said, if you want to know the story of the game, I'll leave a link in the description. But this basically takes place just a little bit before the start of the game. So do I recommend this as a beginner if you haven't played the game? I mean, it is a decent introduction, I suppose. Whether you read it before or after your video game experience, I don't think will alter too much. But it's really not necessary whatsoever. I would not spend money on this. I would either read it through the game or illegally online if for some reason your game doesn't have it. But I will not spend hard-earned money on this comic. It's just fine. The art is eh, and the story itself is eh. We basically just kind of get an introduction to everyone. Like the guy who captains the ship that you start out on, his name's Grim, and we learn that him and Roth, who's kind of like your mentor, your Obi-Wan Kenobi of the video game, they both used to go on adventures together, but now they're older, the next generation's coming up, so now it's Laura. Also, throughout just the interactions in this comic, we learn that Roth himself is definitely like a Nathan Drake, Indiana Jones sort of character, much like Lara Croft herself. And what I kind of realized, because he's a lot older, he's probably in his 60s, maybe late 50s. He is what Nathan Drake would be if the fourth game didn't happen. If he finally laid to rest his adventuring days and lived a peaceful life, Roth, and that's what Nathan would have become. And so, we learn a little bit more about Roth through that, and that's kind of cool, especially because of how certain things go down in the 2013 video game, which, by the way, guys, when that game came out, I was 12. I'm still for a few more days, okay, but by the time you're watching this video, I'm 25. So, perspective, 12, now 25. Time passes too quickly, man. We also learned more about Joseph Reyes or Jocelyn Reyes, sorry. That's the black lady in the game. How she used to be an ex-cop, or she used to be a cop. She then became an ex-cop, basically because her partner was killed out in a shootout, and she basically did some vigilante justice, and that got her fired. Um, she also seems to be having a fling with Roth. Um, James, who's kind of a side antagonist of the video game, we learn that he has this TV show about archaeology, and it's getting canceled because not enough people are watching. So he really pushes getting all the people that we see in the game involved in this expedition, because this is like his last chance to show that he's like important and matters. Um, so there's that. We also see the friendship between Sam and Laura, and we learn that Sam's uncle is pretty rich, and he's basically willing to pay for the expedition to this island so long as he gets 60% of the profits from whatever they find. So that's how they fund the expedition. And then the beginning of the game, they're on the ship, there's a shipwreck, there's a bunch of supernatural stuff with the Yamatai stuff, and the game. And that is that. Like I said, it was neat to get a little bit more backstory on basically all of these characters in the video game, but there's nothing here that's really phenomenal or really worth your time. Like, nothing here enhances the story of the game so much that it is quintessential for you to read. It's just something, it's tie-in fiction, but like in the worst way possible. So I guess that's my thoughts. I will have more to say with the stories that take place in between the video games, because there's a whole sleuth of comics happen after the first game before the second one, and same thing with second to third. So that is some cool things there. I never really played the Tomb Raider games growing up. It just kind of passed me by. But through playing 2013, I know a lot of the older fans from the 90s dislike it. But the approach they went here was, now I can't speak to the other games because I hear the other games, she still doesn't act like Laura Croft. But in terms of being an origin story, if this is this, I'm including this comic and the game. But if Laura Croft, if this was her Batman Begins, if she was meant to become it really felt like she did by the end of the game. Whatever the future games may regress on, by the end of the game, she's got the dual pistol, she's confident, she knows who she is, and she's ready to be the Laura Croft that everyone knows and loves. But I thought it was a fantastic game, and because of that, it made me want to go through the extended little universe it has and to play the older games, and that's entirely due to Tomb Raider 2013, which I never completed before. I think I might have watched my friend play Rise of the Tomb Raider once, because it was like an exclusive, not exclusive, but it came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Like, it was one of the first games to come out on that console, so I may have watched my friend play it once, but I've never played it, and it just always passed me by. But I'm glad I played it. It's linear. It has some optional tombs you can do and some other things, and there's a lot of parkour and a lot of combat reminiscent of, I guess, The Last of Us and Uncharted. But I dug it. It was a good time. I love the aesthetic of Indiana Jones and Uncharted and being a Tomb Raider or being an archaeologist and discovering these ancient things and places. I always love that trope. And it seems like Uncharted, Nathan Drake, his story is done. And besides the video games with the Great Circle, it seems like Indiana Jones is done. So with the Bastion of Laura Croft, as we're meant to get the third remake of the very first game ever this year, because we had Tomb Raider Anniversary back in the 2000s, which was already a remake of the first game, and now we're getting another one, but meant to incorporate the prequel trilogy into that one, along with a game set furthest down the timeline. Laura Croft is being revived, and hopefully for the long haul. If you wanted to get into the the little tiny expanded universe before the events of those new games come out, with Catalyst coming out in 2027, then here's somewhere you can start. But To be frank, I think you should just wait till I talk about those comics that take place after the game, the first one. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And, it's Tomb Raider die. That was dumb. I'll see you. Don't get eaten by dinosaurs.